Hi, I am Criminal Dr. Elizabeth Samantha Rothschild Judge. Just talking about it. Let's talk about the matter of discord and disagreement. When there is no understanding between people who are in common, people who have com- comparable educational capacity, common skills, a lot in common, common presentation, and provided socioeconomic perspective. They know where everything goes the same way and just basically common together. The matter of discord and disagreement between people you would never expect to disagree. Differential is trust in the Lord. See, people trust in the Lord at different capacities. People have different capacities of faith, and your capacity of faith could very well be a point of discord and disagreement with someone with whom you have everything else in common. The great wonder is how can people not know where there is relevance and where there is irrelevance? The distortion is brought about by loud mouth, invalid torts. Righteousness is not found in an invalid justice. Just talking about why else would persons in common be in discord or disagreement? To trust in the Lord. So when you trust in the Lord, you know what to believe. Discord and disagreement come about through our beliefs and our disbeliefs. If you believe what someone says about someone and you don't trust the Lord enough to know what's real or what's not real about the things you hear and the things you see, then it's discord and disagreement. And the distortion is due to loud mouthed, invalid torts. An invalid justice system does not depict righteousness, neither true justice. That's why it has been labeled invalid. See, people place too much emphasis on, well, too much emphasis and importance on things that are not noteworthy or brandished for highlight. When people drag things on and take irrelevant points, something that has nothing to do in full effect, and makes it a highlight or a brandished point of note. We have to find these differentials so that we can get along better. We have all of these things in common, and we have various social groups, organizations, businesses, and to know your placement from the proper socioeconomic perspective. All of that is provision. Then it comes down to hearing. See, in order for an invalid tort to be heard, it has to be mouthed loudly. And in order for an invalid justice system to follow someone for note, then a lot of illegal criminal stalking and criminal harassment has to take place. So, as I was saying, people place too much emphasis and importance on things that are not noteworthy and are not brandished for highlight. So that boils down to comprehension. Do you do you comprehend? A person has to have adequate comprehension skills to even understand what is being said and what is being read. Some people are too interested in getting over. And when they see they cannot get over or they can't get over any longer, if they can't make a fool of you or make a fool of you any longer, they lose interest. Once they lose interest, they have to find interest somewhere. And that is done by believing the deception of invalid torts and carrying out the criminal activity it takes to establish an invalid justice system. And that's why it goes on, because an invalid justice system will never be established. So, with that, we want to consider timelines and how long it takes to accomplish a goal. People spend years and years repeating the same information, the same set of false information, spending years, and it keeps them so far away from the goals they want to accomplish. To accomplish is sometimes gratifying because we either have accomplished prior to a deadline or just in the nick of time. I've been staying at the homeless shelter, and I had someone tell me, well, you're going to be here at least a year. And well, with the types of places I've been, I presumed them to be likely correct. And this was not someone who knew anything about my capacity to purchase a home or anything. This was just them going on if I needed Section 8 housing or something, which I do not. I bought my home. But that timeline, they had been there like 3 years before they got their Section 8. And in less than a year's time, I purchased a home and will be out of the shelters in less than a year from the time that I arrived here, which I could have done that anywhere, but just to save time, I could have done it a lot quicker. I could have done it a long time ago, but the distortions, the discord, and the disagreement, things that were not even relevant to me, stood in the way. So we want to take note how invalid torts and invalid justice systems and irrelevant pursuits can affect timelines and goals. And when you have great wisdom in the Word of God and know lessons from the Bible, you can pretty much tell if someone else does. It's not always about knowing a person. It's not always about knowing their personality. It is about knowing God and being knowledgeable of the Holy Bible. Well, if I come across someone and they claim to be of wisdom from God, if they proclaim to be knowledgeable of the Word of God, then there are certain behaviors that I expect from them in relation to how I can interact with them. And it has nothing to do with the personality or the character attributes. It has to do with what the Word of God tells us, teaches us about how to get along and how to address others. It tells the masters how to treat their slaves, and it tells the slaves how to be with their masters. It tells the husband how to take care of his wife, and the wife how to submit to her husband. It tells us how to respect dignitaries and persons of great worth, and how to approve humility of the poor. So my perspective is that uh, some people need to comprehend better. You can memorize words and say them on cue, but if you're not comprehending the word of God, you will lack in understanding. And lastly, my perspective on online dating is that it is tainted by deception and misconception. So it's a two-way street. It's not just about what the person put in their profile. It's about what you presume about when you read the profile. Because everyone assumes their own. What is told versus what is assumed. So you can be looking at someone's profile and they don't have their height in there, and you're looking at pictures of them standing in particular places, and you can assume something about how tall they are. And that might not be an adequate assessment of their height. Uh, Clean pictures and seeing a bunch of clean pictures, you may not assume to know that that's a very filthy person. And so I'll close with just giving my perception on that. Otherwise, if everyone would tell the truth in their profiles, tell the truth in their descriptions, and be honest about who they are and their internet presence, wherever they're logging on, then I would think online dating would be great, especially with the travel that we have. There's airlines, trains, buses, vehicles. Just you all have a great day.